Tuesday's Tips and Tricks.
Yeah.
Hey folks, welcome back to another Tuesday's Tips and Tricks. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Nathaniel.
And today we're talking about the benefits of terra cotta.
I love terracotta pots. I think they are the best pot, or at least one of the best pots you could grow pretty much any plant in. I don't care if the plant likes lots of water or likes free draining soil, it will enjoy growing in terracotta because terracotta lets the roots breathe, and that's what's beneficial about it. So, I'm not a fan of taking a terracotta pot and coating it in paint because you seal up the pores, or at least most of them, and then it doesn't breathe as well, and then the benefit of terracotta is lost. Especially when, you can find terracotta in other colors, clay pots that aren't necessarily sealed or painted but aren't the terracotta color. Or like our pots here, these are already aged. They've got the white development from mineral deposits, and that's natural, that's real. This is not faux painted on. This is actual old antiquing on the pots. And we just got these in. We've got assortment of prices. I think these guys are like $3 for this size of pot. African pot's more separate, but the pot it's in is like $3. But the benefit of terracotta is that it lets roots breathe. And if it's a plant that likes lots of water, lots of moisture, it still likes air in the soil. It still likes for the roots to breathe. So by putting it in terracotta, you let more oxygen into the soil or the potting media, and it will benefit the plant. You will have to water more often with terracotta, and sometimes that's a complaint. Some people will say, well, I don't like to water as often, or I forget to water, and if that's you, that's fine, and you can grow in plastic, or you can grow in ceramic or glazed pots. That's totally fine. The plants will still grow, but they don't get as much air, and so I think you'll find greater benefit as long as you're willing to keep up with a little bit more frequent watering if you put it in a nice terracotta pot. And they can come in different patterns. This one's got a nice rib pattern on it. We've got different shapes. Like these are rose pots, is what they're technically called. We don't have roses in them, but they're a tall, more narrow pot. And if you had a plastic pot like this, I would say what a waste. Don't ever plant in that, because what happens is the top part gets air and the roots thrive in it, and down below the roots struggle, so they might send a couple long roots down and then wind around the bottom, because the bottom has a hole that can get some air. But in a terracotta, it breathes all the way through, so you'll get even root distribution throughout this pot. So that's the benefit of terracotta. I think, as a tip, you'll have more success growing in terracotta as long as you can keep up with more frequent watering than you do in other types of pots.
All right, so we have a lot of options for your terracotta pots. If you buy a plant from us, or we have plants at home that you're wanting to pot in terracotta pots, we have several different sizes, different from a range from 75 cents to $18. This is, I think, the last one of these, so if you want this, come and get it now. Now, Nathaniel talked about not sealing your pots or painting them, but there are different kinds of paints that don't seal off. For instance, chalk paint. I've been experimenting with chalk paint with one of my pots from home, and the nice thing about chalk paint is that it kind of soaks into the terracotta, and it still breathes. And it honestly, like, just really soaks in. It's starting to seep through a little bit, the terracotta is, but I think it just looks nice. And the nice thing about it too is you can, if you get a new pot like this that doesn't have the wear and the natural mineraling like these do, you can faux paint it so that it looks like it does. There's different shapes and sizes. We've got some like this where you can put some trailers out the side with something in the top. There's just so many options and so many different ways to decorate. So
most of them are handmade,
and that's why, and so they're all kind of unique. That's why I love these over here. Where's that one? Here it is. This guy here is like kind of longer and kind of, I honestly think that when they're chipped and stuff, it gives them a little more character, makes them seem a little more unique and not so like store-bought, machine-made, And that's what I love about these pots. So come on in, check them out. If you have a plant you already have, bring it in, try to find one that fits in it. Our recommendation is to not go much larger than the pot you already have just because it's easy to overwater, different things like that. So come on in and check them out. All right, folks, that's your Tuesday's tips and tricks. We'll catch you next week.